Hey everyone, this is Sindhu and welcome to my new YouTube channel. This video is all about productivity and how you can be more productive. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever found yourself procrastinating and pushing on things that are very important? Because I sure have. Whenever there's something which is very important but at the same time a little difficult to do, then I tend to push it on day after day after day, and sometimes I don't even get to do it. So if you have ever found yourself procrastinating on doing very important tasks, then keep watching because I'm going to show you how to smash that task with some strategies. Technique number 1 is the 80-20 principle, where the economist actually found that 80% of the country's wealth was possessed by 20% of the residents. So he later went on to observe that this pattern occurred everywhere. Simply put, 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. Let's say you run a business. Then 80% of your sales will come from 20% of your clients. Or maybe you run a YouTube channel. 80% of your views will come from 20% of your videos. Or maybe you're a content marketer and you're publishing your video or your blog post over several different social media sites in an attempt to bring in a lot of audience. So instead of focusing all your energy and time on publishing your content over Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, email and whatnot, take a second to analyze which 20% of these social media sites actually bring in 80% of the audience, and then try to focus your energy on perfecting out your content just on these social media sites. So the idea is to focus on vital few ideas or activities that are going to bring you maximum results or massive success. But many people, and that includes me as well, I'm guilty of this totally, we tend to procrastinate on doing such important stuff that are going to be game changing for us while we are so busy doing such unimportant things. Now please stop. Let's take a second to analyze a task list and find out which 20% of the tasks actually give us 80% of the results and do more of the activities that are going to bring us success. Now once you've figured out the 20% of your task, the next technique is to eat the frog. Now you might be wondering what I'm talking about. So in the book Eat the Frog, the author actually puts it this way. Imagine you had to eat a live frog early in the morning, first thing in the morning. Just put it in your mouth, munch it, crunch it and swallow it down. I know, sounds weird. But according to him, when you eat a live frog first thing in the morning, you're probably going to go ahead with the day with a feeling of satisfaction, knowing that there's nothing more worse that can come during that day. This is just an analogy, of course, and the live frog is compared to a difficult and the most important task. So when you develop the habit of doing the most important task first thing in the morning as soon as you start working, you're not only going to be closer to completing the difficult and the important task, but you're also going to have that feeling of satisfaction and accomplishment of having done your best at a worst or a very difficult task. Because personally, whenever I complete a task which is just like very huge and very important, of course, I feel so happy, and it gives me a sort of momentum and motivation for me to actually carry out various different tasks, and by the end of the day I've done the maximum I can. So now that you've decided to eat the frog and attack the important task head on, the next step or the next technique is to eat just one frog at a time. When you're doing something very important, then it's equally important to give your undivided attention to the task at hand in order to complete it successfully. We need to avoid multitasking at all costs. Let me just set an example of a multitasking scene. We are working on something very important, let's say, and we check our emails often, and that's when we feel thirsty and we walk and get our water, and while we walk we also talk to someone, and suddenly somehow there's a notification that you notice from your phone. You pull out your phone thinking you're just going to see the notification. Half an hour has somehow passed by and you're still on your phone before you realize that you've drifted so far away from what you initially intended to do. Let's just admit that we are not good at multitasking. In fact, several studies have also shown that multitasking decreases brain efficiency and also decreases our IQ. Why take risk? So instead of switching back and forth between various tasks, just focus on doing one important task at a time. And when you're working on that important task, set yourself a timer where you're going to give your 100% attention and focus just on the task at hand. So while you're setting your timer, use this technique. Which brings us to our last productivity technique, which is the Pomodoro Technique. So the Pomodoro Technique essentially works like this. You set yourself a 25 minutes timer where you're going to be working on the important task at hand without any interruption. So once the 25 minutes is over, then you set a 5-minute timer where you're going to take a break. So this constitutes Pomodoro 1. You're going to repeat the process of working for 25 minutes at a stretch and then taking a 5-minute break, which will constitute the Pomodoro 2. So once you've completed 4 Pomodoros, which would be around 2 hours, you take a longer break, maybe for 20 minutes or half an hour, and then you get back to work as usual. So the Pomodoro technique is very beneficial because essentially you don't want to work on something which is very difficult and long, because your brain actually feels the overwhelm and you experience the resistance because you invariably know that you have to work long hours in order to complete that task. So what the Pomodoro technique does is it's going to trick your brain into thinking that you're just going to be working on that task for 20 minutes only, after which you're just gonna break. So this is a win-win situation where you're actually getting your task done while you're also having that satisfaction of just working for 20 minutes and giving your attention just for 20 minutes, post which you can take a break. Now there are 3 important things that you have to do while using a Pomodoro technique. Number 1, set up your space for zero distraction. Like maybe you're working on a blog post and you just need your pen and a paper or a laptop and that's it. Then why do you need your phone? Just put it away. Make your space distraction free. Number 2, gather all the things that you want in order to complete a certain task. Maybe you need scissors, maybe you need a pen, your laptop, whatever you need, just put it all together on a desk or wherever you want to put it, because you don't want to essentially break the flow while you're working and lose momentum. Number 3 is to actually have a pen and a paper right next to you to record your random thoughts, because if you're like me, let's be very honest, while we're actually focusing and really concentrating on a task, that's when we have a lot of random thoughts and a lot of to-dos as well. Like, did I eat the tablet in the morning? I need to buy tomatoes for the dinner. Why isn't my hair growing longer? Now before you open a new tab or grab your phone to Google the food to eat to grow more hair, stop and just write those thoughts in the paper and promise to yourself that you're going to get back to these thoughts once you're done working with it. So we've reached the end of the video. To summarize the entire video, if you want to smash a task, first choose the 20% of the tasks that are going to give you 80% of the result. Once you're done choosing it, attack it head on and eat it first thing in the morning as soon as you start working. And while you're working on that task, just do that at a time and do not multitask. And please set yourself a timer using the Pomodoro technique. Okay guys, that brings us to the end of the video. I really hope you found some value out of this video. Let me know in the comments which of these productivity techniques you actually found very useful. Again, I really hope that you found some value out of this video, and if you actually liked it, please like it and please subscribe, because I'm going to be posting more videos, more weekly videos on topics like entrepreneurship, success and personal development. So until I see you next time, please stay kind and keep progressing. Bye.